Congratulations, Kentucky. You have embarrassed yourself once again.
You are Locked On Kentucky, your daily podcast on the Kentucky Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, what's going on, Big Blue Nation? Welcome on into Locked On Kentucky, your daily Kentucky Wildcats podcast. I'm your host, Lance Dawe, and on today's episode of Locked On Kentucky, we're going to be recapping, unfortunately, Kentucky's 80-55 loss on the road to the Vanderbilt Commodores. An embarrassing effort, to say the least, from start to finish from Mark Pope's Wildcats, who clearly just did not seem interested in putting up a competitive effort tonight. Really appreciate you guys tuning into the show. If you're watching this live, I know you guys are going to have a lot to say about this one. Appreciate you guys wherever you are tuning in. If you're listening on podcast, on YouTube, doesn't matter. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not already. Thank you so much to everybody who's gotten us to 19,000 subscribers. 19,000 strong here. As we recap, 80-55, the loss here. Kentucky now falls to 14-7, 5-3 in SEC play. Still projected to go 19-12, 10-8 from here on out. And this one, I said coming into it, this was a winnable game. This was a game Kentucky could have found a way to win. And that if they lost this game, I don't really think a whole lot for the season changes. And to be honest with you guys, I know a lot of you are probably going to ride the wave, reel after this loss, saying everything's over, it's terrible, blah, blah, blah. We'll go over the bad. Of course, we will talk about the bad. But I really do think that, yes, you lost by 25. Yes, there was no point from the tip where you felt like Kentucky was going to be competitive in this one. It's really funny. Kentucky's first set ended with a foul on Malachi Marino, or a foul against Malachi Marino that they didn't call. And from there, I was like, this is going to be a bad night. There was no point where I thought Kentucky was going to come back and win this game. And yet, my outlook for the season, my feelings about this team, my feelings about the program haven't changed. And a lot of you may be saying, well, what are you talking about? How on earth could they have not changed after losing by 25, getting blown out again this season? Well, that's the thing. Again, Kentucky gets blown out again. This has happened multiple times already this season. You got blown out by Bama. You got blown out by Gonzaga. You got blown out by Michigan State. This is now the fourth time. And had you not miraculously found your way back into the Louisville game at the beginning of the year, that would have been your fifth blowout. This is not an elite team. Frankly, I don't even know if Vanderbilt is an elite team. They're a very good team. Very good team. They showed that tonight. They wanted to win this game really bad, and they did by a lot. But Kentucky is not what we were expecting them to be coming into the season, right? They're just not, they're not even close. And they've kind of, been hot and cold. They've had some games where they've showed up and they fought really hard. They've had some games where they just completely give up. And there was a stretch of 3 straight contests against Mississippi State, LSU, and Tennessee where Kentucky got down double digits and they found a way to rally and win those games. The reason that they found a way to rally and win those games is because they were playing against similar competition, like-minded competition, where they're just not very good. Mississippi State's not a good team, so they came back and won that game by a lot. LSU's not a very good team, so they came back and won that game at the buzzer. Tennessee, honestly, not an elite team, but still a good team. Kentucky finds a way to win that one after getting down 17. I think that was just a stylistic advantage for Kentucky, which is you're not going to see that consistently for the rest of the year. Texas, not a very good team. You win that game by 5. Ole Miss, not a good team. You barely eke that one out, and it takes a lot of free throws at the end and shots falling at the end of the game after some horrible officiating to get that to a 9-point win, 72-63? So you strung together this 5-game win streak. Cool. You had to do it coming back in over half of those games. And I think the winning was great. Winning those games was great. But I still didn't think Kentucky was elite. And I will refrain on what we said. I believe it was on yesterday's show. There is so much left this season to play for. There still is. There absolutely still is. But you're not winning a national title. You're not going to make an insanely deep run in the NCAA tournament. You may win a couple of games, but it's evident at this point that this team is not good enough consistently against good competition at all to come close. And they also, when they get down, man, they have the ability to just completely give up. And I have continued to say, and a lot of people around me have continued to say, that it's not fair to criticize, over criticize the players. And yet here we are, paying millions of dollars, or the university is paying millions of dollars for these kids to come play, for these kids to come and compete at Kentucky, supposed to be the best program in all of college hoops. And they break the huddle, and I need to make sure I get this right. They break their huddle before coming out to play this game with these words. You know how they put all their hands together and they say 1, 2, 3, whatever? 1, 2, 3, touch money. That's what they said. Videos all over Twitter of that. And I was like, please tell me that's not real. And yet it keeps popping up. If the goal is to touch money, if the goal is to come here and make millions and not even really try, they are deserving, more than deserving, of the backlash that they're getting and going to get, and frankly going to get from me as well. I'll go ahead and say this so that I don't rail about it later on in the show. Oweh tonight, once again, just supposed to be the leader of this team, not a leader, not the leader, not the leader that we expected. He's not a leader for this team. He's a scoring leader, I'll tell you that. Look at him, he got his 20 tonight. But you saw at some point in the second half, Oweh step up to the free throw line where he was 4 of 6 today, by the way, and chuck so casually, so lackadaisically, just sort of throw the ball at the rim. Not even really trying to shoot. It hits back rim, and the camera cuts to him shaking his head at the free throw line. You don't deserve frustration or upsetness when you aren't willing to put in the work to get the results, right? You can't not put in the effort to get the results and then get angry that you don't, or upset, or any sort of emotion, period, that is negative towards the situation when you don't get the results. You not only should you not do it, you don't deserve that at all. To see this team just fall flat on their face energy-wise, not grabbing boards, not getting back in transition, for Oweh to have the ball inbounded to him and for him to walk out of bounds when Kentucky's almost down 30 in the second half. That's not a leader. That's not a leader. Scoring leader, sure. 20 points on 7 of 19 shooting to go with 5 boards, 3 assists, and 3 steals. Good for you in 30 minutes of play. You want to guess who had a negative 20 plus minus tonight? That'd be Oweh. That's not your leader. It was a really bad performance from the team overall, but I feel like this needs to be called out. That's not what leaders do. You know what leaders don't do at the end of the Tennessee game? You know what they do? They don't call an opponent fat, basically, and mock him and laugh at him. Leaders are more mature than that. Leaders step up and they answer the call and they keep their mouth shut when they find success. At least not they don't talk like that. That's not what a leader does. Oweh was not what Kentucky needed tonight. He was just chucking, and he found himself angry after a free throw where it was clear, no effort. No effort. 55-80 is the final score. Cats are humiliated on the road against the Commodores. Don't really think anything's changed for me, honestly. Don't really think anything's changed. We'll continue to keep this pushing. We'll talk to the live chat a little bit here in just a moment. Before we do it, though, tell you guys about our friends over at Mazda. Moving the game forward. It's a continuation of our historical segment. We're going to spotlight here Will Stein. Let's talk about football for a little bit. There's more to the score, and there's more to what's going on the screen. Man, behind the scenes, Will Stein, it's clear, you can even see it in his eyes. He has been working his tail off to get this program to where he wants it to be. He desperately wants this football team to be successful. He's brought in the portal class, and it's clear he's working his tail off to make sure that Kentucky is not a bottom feeder in the SEC in 2026. People like Stein remind us what it really takes to raise the bar. It's that extra work off the court or off the field. It's dialing in on every detail. It's giving it that little extra fire. It's that grit. It's the I never quit mentality. And Mazda puts the same passion into every single model that they make. Highlights may make the reel, but what it took there to get there makes it count. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. All right, continuing along here on tonight's episode of the show. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. 80-55 is the final score. Cats are humiliated, fall to 14-7, 5-3 in SEC play. And I am not necessarily apathetic, like just throwing in the towel. But honestly, I kind of got all of my frustrations out while watching this earlier. As Jake Evans in the chat mentions, seat height, so now you have it. I got all I had to say yelling out earlier about the lack of effort, the lack of the lack of fight on this team consistently. They just don't have it. They just don't care enough. It's clear this team does not care enough. And then we're probably going to lose this game anyway, right? I said they were probably going to lose this game. To lose it by 25, I don't think it's an example of just how good Vanderbilt is. I think this is an example of how bad Kentucky does not want to win. They just don't want to win. They don't care enough. They came into this game as if they already knew they were going to lose. They didn't care. And then your quote-unquote leader walking out of bounds after being inbound to the ball, getting mad at the free throw line after not even trying to make the free throw. It's an embarrassment. This is an embarrassment that this is what these kids are doing. And the fact that, you can have your 5-game winning streak, right? But you're not punching up. You're not punching up. You're not last year's team. You know what last year's team did? They fought. They fought hard. They fought really hard. And I understand that part of this is you're down 3 starters, right? Like part of this is that you're down 3 starters. The personnel you brought in just straight up isn't working consistently. But you've got to give effort. And honestly, a lot of you guys in the live chat have been saying, even if you don't win, because at this point, it's pretty evident you're not that great of a team. Even if you don't win, I want to see you try. If they had lost that Tennessee game, I would have said at least they tried in the second half. At least they gave effort. And tonight you didn't see any of that. And frankly, I'm fearful you don't see it at all on Saturday, because let me tell you what the Hogs want to do. Let me tell you what the Arkansas Razorbacks want to do to the Kentucky Wildcats on Saturday. They want to rip them limb from limb. John Calipari, you don't think John Calipari wants this one? You don't think the number of former Kentucky commits, former Kentucky players on this roster, you don't think DJ Wagner wants this? You don't think Carter Knox wants this? You don't think Billy Richmond wants this? They want to destroy Kentucky on Saturday. And as I said, predicting the Vanderbilt game, I said Kentucky's probably going to come out really flat. I nailed that, by the way. And I don't nail a lot on this show. I really don't, to be honest with you guys. But that one, it's almost comical how you could just see it coming from a mile away. You could see it too. It wasn't just me. You could see it too. You can see them coming out on 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday and just not even trying against Arkansas. You can see it coming. You can see it coming. And again, I don't think that this is an end of the world, like we need to fire him right now. This is just another example of how I expected this season to go. They're just not that good. They're just not that good. They're going to lose games like this. Honestly, they will probably turn around next week and beat Oklahoma and Tennessee. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you we're going to win a title. We're back in it, anything like that. When things are just going as expected as far as win and loss goes, the thing that I am very upset about tonight is the fact that they did not care. It is body language. It is shot selection. It is mental mistakes. It is awareness. It is getting back on defense. It is rebounding. It is everything that Kentucky did not do tonight. They did not try. Somebody in the chat says, as delusional as this sounds, I actually like our odds against Arkansas now. That would be a fair take to have if, and I'm not saying that this is not going to happen, I'm saying if this team responds, if they go and respond mentally, right? Anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. But again, I don't trust this team to respond. I don't trust them to go out there and fight. You know what they did last year when Arkansas came in? They laid down. Arkansas shot the ball like they had never shot it before, and they didn't play defense, and they lost that game. There is little reason for me to sit here and tell you they're going to respond on Saturday. Man. And the beautiful thing about the season up until this point, you get blown out by Michigan State, excuse me. Loyola, Maryland, and Tennessee Tech are there to comfort you. You lose at home to North Carolina, and you turn around, you get blown out by Gonzaga. NC Central, Indiana, St. John's, Bellarmine, there to comfort you. Indiana, not that good. Not an elite team. St. John's, not an elite team. UNC Central and Bellarmine, not good teams. They're there to comfort you. The easy games are there to comfort you. You lose 2 in a row to Alabama and Missouri. Guess what? Mississippi State, LSU, Texas, Ole Miss, they're there to comfort you. You're beating the teams that you should, and you're not even coming close against the teams that are better than you. And you're not giving effort. You're not giving effort. Arkansas is another team where personnel-wise, you do not stack up well. You do not fight. You like athletically, you're not going to keep up. Transition defense, you're not going to be able to keep up. Indiana just beat Purdue. I saw that earlier, which does enhance Kentucky's win. But again, that's a 14-7 team as well. That's not an elite team. It's great for Kentucky's NCAA tournament resume. Don't get me wrong. But still another team at home that you play that kind of backs you off the ledge a little bit. So I still expect this to be a 19-12 type year. Nothing's changed for me. I'm just tired of seeing this team roll over and give up against competition that matters. This and you may say, well, it's a ridiculous expectation to have for them to win down 3 starters this year. Like which by the way is a bit of a ridiculous expectation. They're down 3 starters. They're down 3 starters. You expect them to go on the road against a top 20 team and win? No, but again, let me tell you why I'm bothered. Again, I want to reiterate why I'm upset. It's because the team didn't give effort. They didn't give effort. It was obvious. They did not try to win tonight. That's why I'm upset. That the kids that are getting paid millions to play are not going out there like they're being paid millions. There's no competitive spirit against the teams that matter. And again, this is Kentucky. It's not Ole Miss. It's not Oklahoma. It's not Texas. It's not St. John's. It's not it's not, frankly, it's not Georgia. It's not Auburn. It's not Florida. It's not Vanderbilt. It's not A&M. It's not in Michigan State. It's not North Carolina. It's not Louisville. It's not Alabama. This is Kentucky. And the fan base expects perfection. A portion of the fan base does. And then most of the fan base expects them to be good. We expect it to field a good team year after year because of the resources, the support that is given to this program. Unlike any other program in the country, Big Blue Nation and the University of Kentucky supports the basketball program better than anybody else. We expect them to try. We expect them to be good. There is a baseline expectation. You need to get to, in my mind, honestly, consistently, get the 20 wins, beat good teams, and then go on a run in the NCAA tournament. That is like kind of what you want out of this squad year in and year out. And to see them just completely fall flat like this is humiliating. I want to wrap the show up here. We'll get to the live chat here. A lot of things that you guys are asking. I want to get to this here in just a little bit. Before we do it, though, I want to tell you guys about our friends over at TurboTax. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert start to finish without the stress or the guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert or in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. All right, wrapping up tonight's episode of the show. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. 55-80 is the final score. Cats fall to 14-7. Embarrassing. Jace Lee 47 asks, Lance, give me one word to describe tonight's game. One word to describe tonight's game. Heartless. I'll go with that. This team showed no heart. No fight, no effort. Garbage. Pathetic. Say two people in the live chat. Dougie Hudson says, players care about money and don't care about winning and passionate about playing for the fan base. Welcome to the new era of college sports. For the most part, that's kind of what you're going to get everywhere. It's what you're going to get from most teams. They have kids that are playing for the money. That does not mean you can't get effort out of them. Take a look at a team like Michigan. Take a look at a team like Arizona, Michigan State, Purdue, Nebraska, Vanderbilt, BYU. They're paying up. They're acquiring talent. And the kids are playing hard. This is just a batch of players for Kentucky that I don't think work well together. And that may compound some of their emotional issues in and out of games. But also, it's clear that this is just not a hard-working, full of effort team. It's just not. This team don't deserve an invite to a Madden tournament. Frankly, I wouldn't want an invite to a Madden tournament. Let's see. Pope's last year at BYU, he beat 6 top 15 teams. Last year, 8. Honestly believe he just got a bad batch of players. He overlooked the character part of the evaluation. I think he overlooked possibly character. And I think he ran away from what he does well. I think last year, Kentucky couldn't play defense. They were not physical enough. But they played with tempo, and they shot well, and they fit the system, and the offense was just nuts. Right? The offense was just insane. And this year, he overcorrected. He said, I want to get players that rebound the ball more physically, that are just bigger, stronger, may not necessarily be as skillful, but they're more impactful, especially in conference play. And he overcorrected, And honestly, I think the concept, again, like I've said, like 3 shows in a row now, I think the concept of what he was trying to do personnel-wise was good. The players that he brought in were horrible for what he runs and for the concept of what he was trying to do. Create extra possessions, and be a more well-rounded team. He whiffed in terms of personnel. And frankly, I think this does bring into question whether or not Pope can succeed with a different style of roster than what he has succeeded with. Run and gun, lanky kids that can run in transition and shoot the ball. Right? So there are a lot of different things that need to be sorted out this offseason, just about how Kentucky approaches everything, personnel-wise. Do you think Pope should be fired after this year if we don't make the tournament? I think that's a question that the fan base is going to ask. I think it's something that people are going to call for. You know, and Captain Crash immediately says no. Can you, no, he gets 3 years. And the kicker for all of this is if it is, go, you can Google it. Kentucky Wildcats 2026 basketball recruiting class. There's nothing. There's nothing. There is no reason right now to look ahead to next year that is not just pure speculation. What we have to go off right now is nothing. There is no recruit. There is no Tyron Stokes on the that's coming yet. There is no Jason Crow Jr. There is no Christian Collins. There's not a single player. And after last year's transfer portal cycle, I wonder, and after seeing them just unable to get anyone from the high school ranks, Kentucky basketball can't get a high school kid 5-star to commit. That is insane. That is insane. But the way that they're not recruiting leads me to believe, and last year's portal leads me to believe they're not going to do anything this year. How would they just dramatically change? They can. They absolutely can. It's possible. But to use a Mark Popeism, the data I've collected says they're not going to change. The data that I've collected says that they're not going to try anything different recruiting-wise. So does he get another year? I mean, I would like to see him get another year because I think he's a great person. I think that his style of ball can succeed. But nothing that I'm watching or seeing or reading about how the recruiting process unfolds tells me that it's going to get better. So why would I waste another year, you know? I don't know. People talking about Bruce Pearl in chat. I mean, he's retired. I don't know if he comes out of retirement for this. Would he come out of retirement for this? I don't know. Somebody asks, what's up with JQ? Captain Crash says, according to Pilgrim, the swelling issue is real, and they think JQ will be week to week soon. We'll just have to see. I don't know. Peanut Butter Posse says exactly what we said this offseason. Pope went for last year's Florida roster. We all thought that's what we had. It just didn't pan out. He's actually done well considering the IQ of the team. So I guess the question is, if he does get another year, if he does get one more season at Kentucky, can you find the right guys in the portal to make this work? To make the Florida roster work? I think, again, like I mentioned, the thought process is good, but the execution this year has been really, really bad. And I hate to say it. I want to see them dip heavy into the portal. I know that Oweh and Aberdeen will be gone. I mean, I genuinely question how much of this roster I want here next season. And I don't want to sit here and name names because I don't think that's fair right now. I will just say there's a large portion of this roster that I would not be bothered if they entered the portal. And we reloaded. And got guys that were better players. And I know for a parent to hear that, for a staff member to hear that, for a coach to hear that, I mean, it will offend you. It is reality. And to be honest with you, I think that you need to start to look at this a little bit differently. While they are just still, a large portion of them, still kids, they're being paid so much money, basically as employees, to perform. And if they are not performing, there's no beating around the bush. There's no trying to make people feel better. There's no, hey, like happy-go-lucky, they're fine, it's okay. No, if you're failing to meet expectations and you're being compensated, you will be cut. You will be told to leave. And I understand that again, they're young. They have parents that care about them, that want them to succeed. But if you're not producing, you shouldn't be here. If you're not producing, you need to get out. Because this is not the standard. This is not the standard. It's the same thing that you would see at any job. At any job. Especially if you're getting paid a ton. You guys can name names in the chat. I'm not going to sit here again and call them out one by one. I am willing to call Oweh out tonight because that is the way that he has acted is not how a leader acts. Scoring leader, sure. Good for him. And he's having a good year as far as conference play scoring goes. Box score stats, he's rolling. But outside of that, I've been disappointed. Oweh is good as the third guy on the scouting report. He's not ahead of the Snake guy. His game is too easy to predict. It's also quiet. Pope absolutely tried to get a bunch of athletes who he thought could coach into good shooters and high IQ offensive weapons. Unfortunately, this year didn't have the magic that last year did. Simple as that. Simple as that. Preach. We'll see what happens. I am very much so underwhelmed. I love how we haven't even talked about like a lot of this game. Kentucky shot 32% from the floor, scored 55 points. They went 11 of 19 from the foul line. Just a humiliating performance from a lot of players. Let's see here. Who played bad? Mohamed Diabate was terrible tonight. Woo! Mo Diabate stunk tonight. Trent Noah is not the best defender in the world, and he just was not good tonight. He was really bad. 1 of 5, minus 22. Oweh was terrible, minus 20. Aberdeen was minus 18. Honestly, Andrea Yelovich and Colin Chandler played fine, despite not hitting. There are a lot of wide open shots Kentucky didn't hit. Is 55 the lowest of the Pope era? I want to say yes, because they scored 59 against Gonzaga. And then last year, the lowest they scored was actually 65 in the loss to Tennessee. We are not hiring Jimmy Dykes to do anything. That's just not happening. Woof. Malachi absolutely needs another year. For that big of a guy, he's kind of terrible at the rim. I'll say this. Malachi is the guy that I would want back. He's the only player I'd want back next season. It's the only guy. What's your prediction for the Arkansas-Kentucky game? What's y'all's? Your guess is as good as mine. Tell you this, I had to guess it's not going to be pretty. Will not be pretty. That's going to do it for tonight's episode of the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. It is super late. Appreciate everybody tuning in. If you've not subscribed, would love it if you did so. Would appreciate it. You can follow the show on Twitter at Locked On UK. Follow me on Twitter at @LanceDawe_, and follow the show over on Instagram. That is at Kentucky Podcast. Any questions, comments, concerns, leave those in the YouTube comments below. You can hit me on the socials. I will see you all tomorrow for another episode of Locked On Kentucky. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, evening. Get some rest. God bless.